Steven, I really appreciate you taking your time out of the day joining this podcast with us, man. Really appreciate you.
Oh man, it's a pleasure, man. I think, as you're going through the process in life, it's always good to have those different milestones or those moments where you get to, kind of talk about where you've been versus where you're going, or just have people,
Mm,
kind of ask questions. So I mean, I just appreciate you guys reaching out to me. I just was trying to make sure that, I was gonna be speaking with you guys, and everything. So
of
thank you.
course, of course. Of course, Steven. Yeah, so a little bit about us. My name is Daryl. I'm an immigrant from Malaysia, came to the United States 2 years ago at age 15. And this is my good friend here, Tariq.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm based in
Nice.
London, so I handle our operations on the front side of things. And yeah, we just thought we'd get you on to have a quick discussion with you and basically ask you a few questions about where you are, really. That's all. So,
Yeah. So real
Okay,
quickly,
yeah.
this is going to be like a podcast where we talk about mindset, the journey as a real estate professional, and the future, where you see real estate is going in the future.
Well, I feel like since I've been on my journey and everything like that, I honestly feel like everything initially starts with mindset. Like every day when you wake up, like we would love to have so many people around us, friends, family, or colleagues, or anyone, just kind of give us a pat on the back, tell us they see our growth, tell us that we can do the most amazing things in this world. But when it really boils down to it, take a look in the mirror and self-reflect and say, do I even have, those necessary like emotions about myself? Am I feeling enough motivation to get up and do it myself? Because there's going to be a lot of time where people don't get to see you behind the scenes, or they don't get to see what you do. And that's the work that you feel like you would love for people to see, but they don't always get to see that. But how do you keep yourself motivated through that transition when no one's around and no one's able to sometimes really see your growth? That really makes the difference of how focused and how disciplined that you are, if that makes sense.
That does.
completely.
Like entrepreneurs, people see their lifestyle, people see how good they live, they see their life, but what they fail to see is that the journey and then the work that goes into it for that lifestyle.
I would say being a real estate agent, like you said, or being a realtor here in Arizona, it's great. I mean, you have to think about it. Like I think that real estate is one of the most selfless acts that you can do in this world. Just because, like for example, my Instagram page is called Defining Dream Homes AZ. And I feel like everyone in this world personally has a dream home that they want to find. And
Mm,
so, they're actively coming to you with their, problem, or, their wants and needs, and you have the task of finding that solution. So, as they're meeting you, you get a chance to show how dedicated you are, how passionate, how much, you really know to secure and make them feel comfortable. And me, myself, I'm a very personable person. Like, even when I'm not doing real estate, I'm doing photography. Even when I'm not
mm,
doing photography, I'm working a server job. Like I do a multitude of things. Even when I'm not doing that, I'm doing marketing, So I
mm.
always try to put myself in so many different vehicles because it's always going to lead me to the right place. Like each one of those industries offer me a different pool or a different opportunity or experience to work with people. So I'm always just, putting myself in the best position
Mm.
and realizing that it's not about me, it's about the client. The moment you take yourself out of that situation and make it about the client 100%, you will see a drastic change within your business. You see what I mean? Just
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
standpoint of putting all the value, because they're the true value. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to have clients, is to understand that it solo is about them. And you're here to
Mm.
work on their behalf to make sure that their dream comes true. So
100%, 100%. Yeah. Business is business, but we have to realize that on the other side of the business, there's people, right?
Now, could I ask you, as a realtor in Arizona, have you noticed that social media is very important for your business, or how does that work for you?
I would say yes, it's very important because I mean,
Mm,
like in today's society, we have so much going on as far as technology is concerned, and
mm, mm.
everything is moving to an AI base. So like those people that are not necessarily using social media now, you're going to have to use it because it's essentially going to be tied in, or it's already tied in with AI technology. So like social media, having that as a pillar, it kind of takes the load off of your shoulders, having to do so much work, because you create the content. Now you get to take that content and post it on as many channels that you can think of. You see what I mean? Like I said, once again, it's going to touch all those different pockets and pools of people, to the point to where it doesn't have to work right away. You might not even see the support right away, but your biggest supporters are always going to be people you don't know. So as you're getting it out there in front of all those people, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Snap, like, you're creating each one of those communities for a purpose. So you might as well utilize them. And even if it's just one post, you're still letting people know that, hey, you're active in that area, and that if they need any help, it's very apparent to them that you could help them. So I think social media should always be a big pillar, for a real estate agent.
100%. It's really
fair
good
enough.
for personal branding. You could show social media. It's actually a long-term game. You can like post like 2 posts and expecting like 5 listings from the viewers. It's not possible.
It's excellent, isn't it? Can I ask, how did you do? But like, do you do your own photography for your real estate, or how does that work?
So I've done a combination of both. I actually just signed up to do a 30-day trial to have someone do my postings for me, and I just wanted to see how it goes. I do most of everything myself because I like being the face of my brand for people to see me, but that's just where sometimes you have to realize what people like to see as well, by looking at your insights and just understanding, are people more so focused on, the information? Are they focused on you? Are they focused on the quality of the video? Are they focused on what you're actually giving out as far as the scenery? Because you're, like I said, everything that you do, you're touching so many different types of people. I would just say that me having that photography background, it gives me another piece to add to, like my skill set, or just working on the field, to where I don't have to ask for much help. But I do like to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, thanks.
So photography is like a small piece of a full pie.
Yeah.
You have mindset, you have photography, you have social media. Wow. That's a really good thing. All right. Steven, one question for you. If you would have an advice for aspiring entrepreneurs looking to go into the real estate space or mindset coaching, how can one manage and excel in that role?
I would say I would first research a paradigm shift, being able to figure out what's missing in your life that really drives you as a human being. Because I think that no matter what we do in life, we put so much effort into other people that we forget to learn about ourselves. Like, we study everything that's going on around us, but when it comes to mindset, you have to know how you think. You have to know how your mindset can inspire everyone around you. How do you use the knowledge that you have to cultivate this community, or be able to brand yourself, or speak confident in front of the camera? And I've been doing this since I was a little kid. Like, I've played every sport you can think of. I've always been like the hype man, or been like the guy on the team that everybody wants to come to. They be like, get me right before we go out there, whether it's kickoff, whether it's, a play, it can be anything. But I keep the same energy no matter what. Like, if you see me even in person, like, I'm going to have the same energy, because I truly believe that your first impression could sometimes be your last impression. So having the right mindset going into any situation will always set the tone for you, and being able to, achieve your goals. Same thing in real estate. Real estate is such a phenomenal place to be, and such a phenomenal career, because it allows you to go down a path to find that financial freedom. You essentially make your own schedule. And I think a lot of times people are looking for a way in life to get their time back, because they do truly feel like they've given so much time to going to school, going to college, learning trades, or, just anything that they've done as far as working for anything other than their goal, to the point to where when you really sit down and you're like, hey, what's my dream? How much time do I need to, put into this in order to make it successful? I now understand that no matter what you do in life, most things require you at least a year to 2 years, to for that dedication in order for you to sometimes see results. And most people don't like the trial and error phase, or the area, or the areas where you make mistakes. But it's okay to have a dream, but if you're not going to put any action behind it, or if you're not going to be able to motivate yourself or consistently stay motivated, you might find yourself back at square one. So I do truly feel that mindset and real estate go hand to hand, because it says a lot about what you think of yourself, but it also drives that business to say that anything is possible, when you have the right mindset, and then you truly believe that you can help those clients. So if that makes sense.
That does
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense. There's one sentence where it said people focus on the exterior. They don't have time to focus on themselves and what they want to do, right?
Mhm.
And a wise man once told me, the richest place is at the grave. That is where you find all the what ifs, all the could have beens, all the best technologies, all the journey that you could gone through, but you're just too afraid, right? Then I feel like when people say they don't have time, or they say that life is short, I think that they just don't have time to work on themselves, right?
Mhm.
They go for a job, working for a boss, focusing so much on the work, and then when they come back at like 5 or 6 p.m., they're really so exhausted that they seldom have time for themselves, right?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
one thing
really
I would
important.
And one
Sorry.
thing I would add to that, I would just say, no matter what you're doing in life, like, find something that you truly love, because the
Mhm.
job that you have is never going to be able to love you back the same way that you love the job. But even though that is the case, there's so much value in putting yourself first sometimes, because I always tell people that you better enjoy life, or life will enjoy you. And the best way that I can always put that into perspective is to say that for every day that you're not out working on your dream or your goals, you're constantly working on someone else's goals and helping them get closer to their goal and achieving their dream. So don't ever let a job or anything in your life pay you to forget about your dreams, because your dreams are worth so much more than
That is on point. That is on point. Tariq.
yeah. Yeah, so the other thing I did want to ask, Stephen, really was earlier when I asked you about social media, you did mention AI and how that was starting to become a big deal, really. Now, as a realtor, what do you think maybe in the next like 2 to 5 years will be the effect of AI on your business?
Oh man, I think it's going to be a drastic change, just because
Mm.
you can look up anything with AI. I mean, AI
Yeah.
is moving at such a fast pace and rate, to the point to where, like, even in an investment standpoint, like, if technology is already where it's headed, then that kind of points you into the one of the most prominent areas to invest. But
Mhm.
I would say within the next 2 to 5 years, AI is just going to have its hands tied into social media so much that, like, they already give you access to like, you can use it for anything. You can ask
Yeah.
AI any question, and it
Mm.
seems like it
Yeah.
already knows what you're thinking, and it just spills the information back to you.
Yeah,
Um,
it's crazy.
so I would just say that it's gonna drastically change. Like, you have you have AI making music for artists that haven't said a word. And things of that nature. So if AI can do that at this rate, at where we're at in 2 to 3 years, I mean, imagine what it's gonna look like. They'll probably be able to put you in a home, and like
Mm.
let you
Yeah.
The
let you do it
possibilities is
virtually. Yeah.
endless.
Yeah. So
Mm.
they be able to put me and the client in the home, and we may actually be at our own homes, so
Yeah.
you just don't know how fast technology can move, but it is moving at a rapid rate to where it is going to have a more positive effect on, I would say, every industry, not just real estate, but all industries, just because of how fast and rapidly it's moving. So.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Brilliant. Thanks very much, Stephen. Yeah. So really the other thing I wanted to ask you is obviously I see you're really, like I said, you're doing a lot of different things at the moment. Can I ask, like, how did you get into? Oh, firstly, I should say, which one did you get into first, and then how did you get into that business? Could you?
It actually started. I I was working and doing marketing for Facebook and Instagram for the past like
Okay.
couple years, and like I was basically like a marketer and sales rep for them. And
Mm.
in the process of working for them, like I came on, I had got hired at a job fair like after I had moved here 5 years
Yeah.
ago. And it was just, I felt like it was a great time to like spread my wings and just kind of get out there and see what else was out here in the world. Like I really
Yeah.
felt like as a human being, you really don't know how to be strong or be tough until you have to be. And as a man, to be on your own and move someplace that you completely don't know,
Mm.
it sometimes is a rough beginning, but it actually started out great for me. So I was fortunate enough to get that marketing job, and I slowly became a top sales rep, on the
Yeah.
team, and everything was just working out for me. But I had at first just looked at it from a financial standpoint, like it was
Mm.
fun. I was making good money, but
Mm.
I kind of forgot about my dreams, and that's why I always talk about all dreams are possible, and I always tell people to chase their dreams because, like, I was in a situation where I was stagnant, and I really was kind of afraid to leave that job because it had worked so well. And I was like, man, I'm at least gonna stay here 4 years. I'm gonna see how it goes. And on the back end, I really started to realize that I had the knowledge to make someone $1 million or
Yeah.
$100,000 or $10,000 in a weekend, but I never saw a percentage of that. And so
Mm.
it kind of made me think like, hey, well, like, what can I do to make that type of money? Like where can I position myself? So
Yeah.
I I slowly started to branch out, and like COVID had happened like during that
Mm.
transition. So you had to find a job or something that required you not to be within a certain amount of distance. So I
Yeah.
did my research and I picked up a camera, and I was like, well, I've played every sports. I've been around tons of people. Like my
Mm.
aunt, my aunt grew up doing real estate. So I know what people are looking for as far as visuals are concerned.
Mhm.
That would be good. Plus, you don't have to come in contact with individuals. You can keep your distance, and then hey,
Yeah.
I'll send you the photos, and then we can do all payment virtually. So
Mm.
whatever I needed to do to solidify myself, that was the first step, like figuring out how I could invest in myself. And then slowly from real estate, slowly from photography, it got to a point where I was like, okay, I really like this, but this is not the only skill I want to learn, because if I challenge myself to learn at least one new skill every year, I'm gonna
Mm.
be I'm gonna be in the best position. If anything happens, I don't have to worry about getting tired of this job or getting tired of that job. Why don't
Yeah.
I just do a multitude of things, and then I can structure my life the way I want to? So every day I
Mm.
get to do something different and have fun. So then it led to real estate. And then I was like,
Exactly.
hey, I'm gonna take this course, and I'm gonna get my real estate license, and then
Mhm.
from there, let's see what else. So every time I hit that milestone, I just felt like I unlocked a new level, to the point to where I saw endless possibilities of what I could do. And I just kept on tacking those things on. Like, and then it went to mindset coaching, just because like I've always been passionate about wanting to be a motivational speaker. So I always said that, hey, if I get the opportunity, like, let's do it. So I use my platform, to do that, and I just kept doing it. I even have taken acting classes before, and I want to get back into that. So
Mm.
it's a multitude of things that I want to do in life. And I just, like I said, just keep learning. Like, like Einstein was one of the most intelligent people in the world. And
Yeah.
we still continue to talk about him on a large scale because he had the knowledge. But imagine if someone like that was able to delegate and give someone else or a trusted friend that amount of knowledge. You would never have to work, just because you learned a skill set and then you were able to teach someone else how to be just
Mm.
as inspired or just as prominent as you are in that career field, to be
Yeah.
successful. So,
Wow.
so yeah.
Wow. That is a gem right there. That is so much value. That is so much
Mm.
value.
Appreciate it. I
Wow.
appreciate it.
Wow.
Yeah. Excellent stuff, honestly,
That is
Stephen.
that is something I gotta think about. Hmm.
No, for sure, man. Like your dreams are so important, man. Like you just don't know. Like I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and I literally said that like you never will be able to determine someone's value in life until they're not here anymore. Because if you know that, like, when someone's gone, you have a multitude of people telling you about your growth and telling you how far you came and everything, because you don't get to tally that up until they stop working, because you're always focusing on, you know, what's next, or extending your body of work, you know, during the time while you're here. So until a moment like that, when you're not around or you're no longer here, no one can tally that up. So what you do and how you are as a person, you know, it really sets the tone of what you're going to be leaving behind as a human being, or to your, you know, significant other, to your kids, just your family, your friends, just everybody that has had a chance to experience, you know, you being in their life. So I just challenge everyone to just keep chasing your dreams, man. It's so important, if not the most important thing in the world, like, to chase your dreams.
100%. Spend more time with yourself. Focus on the journey. Focus on the goal. Not like, you got to enjoy the marathon and not a sprint, because life is a marathon, right? So, all right, Stephen, I have one last question for you. If there is one words of wisdom that you could give to the younger audience or aspiring entrepreneurs that is coming up, looking for their own journey, looking to start their own journey, what would that wisdom be?
What would that wisdom be? I would say that wisdom is to figure out what it is that truly keeps you up at night. Like, because as when you're younger, you have such a open mind, and you have all this creativity, and you have all these different things that you're attracted to, you know, that, you know, you'll play sports, you'll work a few jobs, you'll travel, whatever it is that's keeping you up at night, and that gives you that uncomfortable feeling. That's probably what your purpose is going to be later on in life, because somehow, some way, it's not by habit that it's keeping you up. It's just your mind taking the time to download and process and see what is the most prominent or easiest route to get there, without having to take the same amount of time that someone else has done. But while it's keeping you up, it's also putting you in an uncomfortable space, because that's the only way that you can grow as a human being. So if whatever it is that's keeping you up at night, that's more than likely your purpose, or at least one skill set that you should go after in order to solidify yourself in this world.
Wow, that is so true.
Yeah,
that is so true.
Excellent.
Because we run a digital marketing agency where we help realtors get more listings through social media, paid advertising. Wow, and that has been bugging my mind since I started. Wow.
Yeah, completely.
Wow,
Stephen, actually, speaking of social media again, if I could just ask you one final question of my own, actually. So what I wanted to ask is, obviously, seeing as you're an estate agent or a realtor yourself, right? What would be maybe your top 3 tips for other realtors on basically marketing their properties? It could be anything, just how they can show off their property. What would you say?
I would say figure out one way to delegate. Just because when you figure out how to delegate, and it has to make sense, obviously, because as a real estate agent, you're doing marketing for specific clients, and sometimes, you know, putting your dollars out there, you know, to make sure you have a successful listing, or a successful journey with your client. But learning how to delegate some of the things that you feel like you really want to control will give you more time to focus on the things that you can be doing to sharpening your skills. Like, for example, like reading books, like, or watching YouTube videos about other success, because I tend to do that. Like, even when I didn't know something, I would hop on YouTube and type it in, and just search, you know, because there's so much information and value out there from people who have already, like, been doing real estate for 20 plus years, and they have nothing but summaries of how to get to where they got at a faster pace. And you don't have to take everything. You just need to take what's most prominent to you and add that to your repertoire or your personality to make you that successful, you know, agent. But when it comes to real estate, like I said, learning how to delegate, you know, feeling confident about the information that you're putting out there, because people really do want that information. Number 3, be willing to put yourself out there. You know, I think that that's another thing. Like, not everybody comes equipped with that personality. I think you can develop that personality, but not everyone is so much of a people's person right away. So it's not that they can't do the conversation. It's just the initial, hey, how you're doing, and things like that. So I would say, you know, just even with your social media, like if someone has a Google business page, for example,
Yeah.
like you can have someone that you meet in person, like if they think very highly of you or you have a good experience or a great interaction, you could have that person easily go leave you a review, and it doesn't have
Yeah.
to be that review for that business. It's just people consistently talking about the good habits, the good personality, and the good things that you bring to the table, to the point to when you do get back on your social media, those reviews are going to continue to drive traffic from, you know, from this point to point B, and point B is going to lead you to point C. So always just having that mindset of what's next and how can you cultivate, you know, yourself and build your community in order to have a successful business. Social media is going to be a very big standpoint and a very good way. So,
completely. All right. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thanks. That was a really good answer.
no problem.
Thank you.
Stephen, that is so much wisdom. Like, honestly, that is actually a lot of wisdom. And Stephen, we really appreciate you hopping on this podcast, talking to us, spreading your knowledge with us, allowing people to have the lesson without the scars, you know. So I really appreciate you, Stephen. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Like, you know, to be able to start a journey and then, you know, have these milestones. This is another milestone for me, and this is another testament to my journey. Like, I don't have bad days, because the true value of a good day is to realizing that something bad or a distraction or something will transpire in your life. But it's always up to you as a human being to decide whether you're going to focus on the bad, which it's already happened, you can't control it, and it's past tense, versus you focusing on everything else positive or good that happened in your life already. You don't have to worry about that, you know. So just focus on the good, and if something is not due until a later date, or something can wait or be placed on hold, focus on what you can get done right now, and it'll give you way more success than you can get in that long-term worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet. So a good quote to say, yesterday is not today, and tomorrow has not happened yet. So don't bring anything into today that's not prepared, that you're not prepared to face.
Wow.
Because if not, then you can deprive yourself of your joy by putting everything into this one day, when it doesn't have to happen in one day. You just need to be more patient with yourself, take your time, and then just understand that, like, you're human. So you're going to make mistakes. You're going to have things happen in your life, but that doesn't mean that you should let it control your life.
So. Wow.
All right, Stephen. Well, that's honestly really impactful, and I think even we can use that, not just like people watching, but that's actually a really good quote. Thank you very much for that.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Daryl, if you're all good, then I think that's pretty much it, really, isn't it?
There's one quote where Steve reminds me of: yesterday is the past.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the future. And today is the gift. That's why it's called the present.
If you're here, then that truly means that God is not done with you. That means there's still time for you to correct everything that you want to in life. So use your time wisely. Like, no matter what you're doing in life, if you suggest with time, you'll save yourself a lot of trouble, and you'll have more time to yourself. So
of course, Stephen. Of course. All right, Stephen. It's already 10:30. We really appreciate you showing up to this podcast, sharing your knowledge to the younger audience. We really appreciate you, Stephen.
No problem.
Thank you very much, Stephen. It's really good to be here.
I can't wait to see what you guys do with it, man. But I appreciate you guys for having me. And hey, hopefully we can reconnect in the future, man. And good luck to you guys on this amazing podcast. You guys have so many amazing questions, and I'm glad I was just able to, you know, speak from the heart and give the best answers that I could. So thank you guys for the opportunity.
Of course, Stephen.
Thank you very much, Stephen.
Appreciate you, Stephen.
Really good having you here. Thank you.
Bye-bye.